So what exactly is NLP? NLP, or Neuro Linguistic Programming, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. Back in the day when I thought I was a life coach and that I was really doing something with my life, I became certified in NLP and I would use NLP with my clients. Maybe you're watching this video, maybe you practice NLP. Love that for you, hate it for me, and that's why we're gonna be here to talk about it today. What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. Hi if you're new here, hi if you are not. My name's Danielle. Not only do I create small business content here on my YouTube channel, I also like to unearth scams, particularly in the life coaching and business coaching industry. If you find yourself being someone that is particularly triggered by the content that I create on my channel, I would advise you, for your own mental health and well-being, to click out of this video, give it a thumbs down on your way out if you feel like it. But if you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I am so happy to have you here. Let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Okay, so by now you might be wondering, what exactly is NLP? NLP, or Neuro Linguistic Programming, is an approach to communication, psychotherapy, and personal development that first appeared in Richard Bandler and John Grinder's 1975 book called The Structure of Magic Part 1. Despite a lack of empirical evidence to support it, the authors then released a second book called The Structure of Magic Part 2, and NLP kind of took off from there. The practice centers on this assumption that there is a connection between neurological processes, language, and acquired behavioral patterns, and that any of these processes can then be changed in order to help you achieve specific goals in your life. NLP uses perceptual, behavioral, and communicative techniques to make it easier for people to change their thoughts, behaviors, and actions. Essentially, in my opinion, it's just a bunch of falsely certified practitioners, as they like to call themselves. And I say falsely certified because, just like life coaching, literally anyone can start a school of NLP and start certifying people as practitioners in the industry. Basically, it's just a giant unregulated industry where people are teaching other people techniques that are not rooted in science. The whole thing kind of gives me manifestation vibes, so if you haven't watched my video on why I personally don't believe manifestation is real, you can go ahead and click right here to watch that and get caught up to speed, and then come back and join us. Essentially, practitioners of NLP say that they can use the methods of NLP to essentially model the behaviors of exceptional people, meaning that anyone who desires to act the way someone else is acting can essentially just use NLP to embody that person's thoughts and behaviors. And I don't know, the whole thing just gives me like a weird feeling, okay? Some critics suggest that the reason why NLP is so popular is because it has such a broad application to such a large number of problems and desires that people want to have in their life. And a really interesting piece I came across in my research is that many of these NLP practitioners don't believe that it's necessary for them to understand their client's history in order to help them achieve their goals and desires that they're looking for assistance with. And I found this particularly interesting because if we think about any other kind of medical or psychological setting, it is considered best practice and often is completely necessary to understand a client's history when it comes to resolving whatever issues they're facing in present day. And in my opinion, I think that this not only demonstrates how unregulated the industry and how unknowing many of these practitioners truly are, but further also demonstrates the dangers that someone who is in a really vulnerable position seeking help from an NLP practitioner could be susceptible to facing. However, unfortunately, as a result of NLP being an applicable tool that can be used for so many different people and so many different problems, it's been adopted by so many different hypnotherapists, coaches, and people of the like as a tool to help their clients achieve their dreams and desires. In summary, NLP is used as a method of personal development through promoting skills such as self-reflection, self-confidence, and communication, which, for the record, in themselves are not problematic. In fact, it's my personal opinion that all of these are great skills to have. The issue I have is when we are charging people thousands of dollars to learn those skills. Again, just like many of the grifts and schemes that I cover here on my channel, while I do have problems with underqualified people teaching things that they have no right to be teaching, that in itself could be an entire video for another day. My real issue here with NLP is the exploitation piece, wherein these practitioners are charging their clients thousands and thousands of dollars either to learn how to use the NLP techniques in their own life, or to train them to then become NLP practitioners themselves. The whole thing just gives me a major ick. Now, without getting too deep into this, because honestly, I think this topic could be an entire video in itself. In fact, you can let me know if you want me to make an entire video about this. I want to talk about these not so legit NLP certification programs. In fact, a quick Google search that I did for this video came up with hundreds of results. And if we go to a website like Udemy, for example, you'll see on the screen here, there are hundreds of options for courses that range anywhere from the like $20 to $30 mark to certify you in NLP. And then beyond Udemy, we have these like full-on academies where you can take intensive courses in multiple parts that cost upwards of $4,500 Canadian after the exchange rate. Now, honestly, one of the reasons I wanted to make this video was because there was one creator in particular who, to this day, I still receive her ads, but I'm pretty sure she was the one that kind of turned me on to the world of NLP and sort of introduced me to what it even was. And now I won't name her specific business, but I will say that she is Toronto-based. She has established her own unique method in which she then certifies people as mindset coaches who can then use the techniques of NLP. So you'll see on the screen here a screenshot from her Instagram that shows the like mindset coach certification that you'll receive. And the piece about this that I find really sad is that she charges thousands of dollars to the students of her program. And she frames it as this like legitimate opportunity because she uses words like get your certification and graduate from the program. But my friend, if you are looking for a degree in a particular topic, please do yourself a favor and go to an accredited actual institution and don't spend thousands of dollars getting a certificate from some random stranger on the internet, no matter how many followers they have, and no matter how legitimate they appear on the surface. So now let's really get into why I believe the entire concept of NLP is kind of a giant hoax. First of all, like many of the other schemes and grifts that I cover here on my channel, there is no scientific evidence to support the claims that many NLP advocates are making. But before we get too far into the conversation about the flaws that I personally see with the NLP industry, I thought we could take a moment to collectively enjoy this TikTok that I came across by a consumer behavior psychologist who goes by the name of Dr. Paul. I will link his profile and information in the description of this video.
So today's question is, can you explain what NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming, is? How do I put this as diplomatically as humanly possible? Because I know that many of you out there probably believe this crap. NLP is a string of words that mean nothing, made up by two men in the 70s from nothing. It has no basis in anything, let alone science. So NLP is basically rubbish. But it makes a lot of people a lot of money. And, you know, you have NLP practitioners and NLP master practitioners and all sorts of stuff. But the truth of the matter is, anybody can call themselves an NLP master practitioner because you can make it up as you go along, because it's not real. It's nonsense. It's crap. Rubbish. And I can say that in 22 different languages. But in plain English, NLP is complete and utter nonsense.
Ultimately, NLP is a pseudoscience in that it uses a lot of uselessly complicated scientific-sounding terms to disguise the naive simplicity of it all. Just like I outlined in my video here about quantum mechanics and spirituality, what we see is the use of words and terminology that sound scientific as an effort or in an effort to make whatever these people are sharing sound like it is legitimate scientific information. Because if it sounds scientific, it must be scientific, right? Wrong. In the reading that I did, some critics went so far as to claim it to be pseudo-religious and pseudo-philosophical as well. In that once you sort of find your way into the sort of practice of NLP, it can be really difficult to find your way out of it. Because every challenging or negative thought that you have in the practice of NLP is then rooted back to the grander NLP worldview that you've adopted. And there's no method within NLP itself that would allow you to criticize the practice of NLP, nor is there a way to sort of measure the practices within NLP against one another. The methods and the teachings are the way they are, and if the methods don't work, then it's the fault of the practitioner, not the method itself. And NLP advocates and practitioners will often dismiss criticisms by simply just saying that NLP works. But when pushed for evidence on how it works, their evidence is often anecdotal at best. Are we surprised? Because I'm not. Now, determining the effectiveness of NLP is difficult for a few different reasons. NLP has never been subject to the scientific rigor that many other established therapies or modalities like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, have been. And its overall lack of formal regulation really leaves for some questionable results because a lot of the evidence to prove that it's effective comes from anecdotal experience or the NLP practitioners themselves. And I think it's really important to note that any NLP practitioner is, for lack of a better term, completely financially motivated, because if I'm an NLP practitioner, I want you to buy my services. Obviously, I'm going to tell you that the services I'm trying to sell you are effective in helping you achieve whatever your goals are. And beyond that, quite frankly, any of the scientific research that's been done has a lot of mixed results. And so I've included a couple of peer-reviewed articles in the description for this video, but if you take a read through those, you'll find out that in some circumstances, there is a little bit of evidence to suggest that the methods of NLP are effective. And then in others, the results are saying that it's completely ineffective. So it's really non-conclusive. And generally speaking, the theoretical basis for NLP to this day has attracted a lot of criticism for its lack of evidence-based results. And despite nearly 4 decades of existence, neither the effectiveness or validity of NLP has been clearly demonstrated through solid research. Okay, I think now it would be most helpful to share what some of these NLP gurus online are saying so that you can kind of understand what it looks like, and hopefully it will help you to avoid becoming subject or victim to any of these ploys. Again, everything I share here is in my experience based on my own opinion and my own understanding. So let's go ahead and jump into the first video.
I love NLP so much, and I'm going to tell you what it is and how you can use it to help yourself. So NLP is just how your mind sees and hears and feels and then produces a response based off those things. It's essentially the operating system of your mind. You take in information with your 5 senses, your mind filters it, labels it, and then creates a program. And you're constantly running these programs which shape your experience of the world. But many people don't know that you can rewrite your programs at any time thanks to neuroplasticity.
Okay, just like I mentioned earlier in this video, and like I mentioned in the quantum mechanics video, which I will have linked down below, people will use scientific terms, neuroplasticity, for example, to make whatever the explanation or teaching is that they're trying to get to come across sound more scientific than it actually is, and without really knowing what exactly it is that they're talking about. Now, I'm not arguing that neuroplasticity isn't a thing. It definitely is. In fact, neuroplasticity is the ability of neural networks in the brain to change through growth and reorganization. Essentially, it is when the brain is rewired to function in some way that differs from how it previously functioned. However, I have a hard time believing that someone who took a maybe 2-day, 1-week, 8-hour course on NLP is going to have the skills, the understanding, and the wherewithal to actually implement techniques for neuroplasticity into their day-to-day life. But let's go ahead and see what else she has to say.
Using NLP to rewrite is the best in my opinion. 1, because I've seen personal incredible results from it. 2, it works super fast. And 3, it is very effective. And there are many NLP techniques, but one that you can try right now is take any limiting belief that you have, close your eyes, and then hear it playing in your head. And imagine that you have 2 dials in front of you. And the first dial turns down the volume on this limiting belief. So just go ahead and at your own pace and your own time, turn down that dial all the way until it gets to 0. Once you've got it down to 0 and you don't hear it anymore, turn your attention to the other dial and begin to turn it up. And as you do that, you notice that it's playing your favorite song. Crank up the volume as loud as you want. You could even sing or dance. And then once you're feeling really good, go ahead and hug yourself. Now, if you were able to do that successfully, congratulations, you've just rewritten that program.
Listen, I have no problem with visualization techniques. I've talked pretty openly in my other videos about how I am someone who uses a journal every day. I write down the things that I want to achieve and the things that I aspire to create. And I think that the practice of goal setting can be really instrumental in allowing us to be able to achieve the things that we want and we desire in our lifetime. The thing I take issue with, and again, we see this across all of these sort of scientific, spiritual grifting spaces, is the use of seemingly scientific verbiage, terms, and practices, and then tying them to what are, in my opinion, very rudimentary exercises. So the whole thing just kind of seems like a little bit unnecessary to me. Now let's get into the next video.
If you are somebody who struggles with confidence, or you don't even know what confidence looks like to you, listen up and don't scroll, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to teach you how to increase your confidence using a technique I created called the circle of belief. What you're going to go ahead and do is find a piece of paper. It doesn't matter what piece of paper you have. And what I want you to do is you're going to go ahead and draw a circle. I want you to close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, and I want you to ask yourself, how many levels of confidence do you need to travel through in order to become your most confident self, right? The center of the circle is your least confident self. The outer ring of the circle is your most confident self. So go ahead, think of that number, sit down, and draw that many circles. In this example, I drew 5. Now take a deep breath, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine where you are in your circles, right? If you were going to rate your level of confidence, where would you put yourself? Some of you might go in the middle, some of you might be one of the outer rings. So just take a pen and point a dot, draw a dot wherever you land. For this example, I drew my dot, 1, 2, in the third circle. So as you can see, I have a couple layers to go to reach my most confident self. So go ahead, take a moment and plant your dot. Now, here comes the reprogramming. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to ask yourself this very simple question. Close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in, exhale, and on the exhale, I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you need to believe about yourself in order to get to the next ring? Take your time with this, breathe into it, meditate on it. What do you need to know about yourself? What do you need to believe about yourself in order to get to the next level? Some examples might be that I'm worthy, that I'm worth it, that people aren't going to judge me, that I have value, that I have something to add, that people need to hear my voice. Whatever that belief comes to you, make note of it. Once you have an answer to that question, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to float down into your body. I want you to feel yourself believing what it is you need to believe, right? So for example, let's say that in order to get to this ring, I need to believe that I have value. So I'm going to sit in that belief of having value. I'm going to close my eyes, bring that to my awareness, feel me having value. I'm going to float down into my body. I'm going to see what I see, hear what I hear, and I'm going to feel that feeling of being valuable, that belief I need. And once you feel it, go ahead and draw your dot on the next line. And now ask yourself, what do you need to believe about yourself in order to reach the next circle? Exactly the same thing, coming to awareness of it, closing your eyes, telling yourself, right, saying that affirmation out loud, then flow down to your body, see what you see, hear what you hear, and feel yourself having that belief. This is going to be very powerful for you because not only are you bringing awareness to what is it that you need to be confident, but you're doing the subconscious reprogramming to get you there. If this was helpful, please go ahead and save this and let me know in the comments what you came up with.
I don't think there's anything problematic necessarily with this technique that she taught. Again, my problem is that they frame it as this like absolutely life-altering opportunity that you need to take advantage of immediately. And I want to draw to attention a comment that was left on this video. So this comment here says, I've been trying to manifest for 2 years. I've gone through the books, videos, podcasts, etc., but it feels like my ADHD is going against it. Like I find it hard to imagine a specific image in my head. And when I do feel like I'm getting somewhere in my head, my thoughts get confused. Is there a way to hypnotize the ADHD out of me or the symptoms that make manifesting difficult for me? I'm 30 and I feel like ADHD is holding me back. And then this coach just replied and said, you can definitely do it. So here's a whole other piece that I could talk about for a very long time, and this gets left in my comments a lot, is the idea that any of these practices where we're using manifestation, we're using, the principles of quantum mechanics to achieve our dreams, is that when things don't work out the way that we have visualized or the way that we have been trying to manifest, it then becomes the fault of the person who is practicing as to why they're not getting the results that they want. And so I bring this up because in this specific video, she's talking about using visualization essentially to build confidence and in turn, I'm assuming, achieve the things that you desire in your life. Like if you don't feel confident, you can just visualize yourself feeling confident and then eventually you're going to feel confident. And if you don't achieve that sense of confidence, it's your fault for not visualizing correctly. And I don't think that that's how confidence and building confidence actually works. Now, I am not a therapist, I'm not a psychoprofessional, but it is my understanding that confidence stems from our experiences throughout life and a multitude of other complexities and issues that can really only appropriately be worked through with a professional in something like therapy. Not with some random stranger on the internet who bought some unaccredited certification program and is now calling themselves a hypnosis NLP practitioner coach extraordinaire. I am all for using proven techniques and tools to help improve our lives. In fact, there are many great free tools here on YouTube that you can use. But the fact that these people package up these skills that they can then sell to you to teach you, or even worse, sell to you to then teach others to sell to others to teach others and so on, is where this whole thing starts to get very problematic for me. So hopefully I'm communicating that clearly. Let's get into video number 3.
This might be a little bit tricky to get your head around, so listen closely. Whatever problems you're facing, they're actually not real. You see, problems actually don't exist in the universe at large. They're just things that are happening, neutral events. And it's our perceptions of them and our understandings of them that determine whether we see them as a problem or an opportunity or a challenge or anything in between. So take a minute and think about a problem that you have in your life right now that you're experiencing. And think, why do I feel like this is a bad thing? And you might think, well, it's obviously bad, like I've just lost this or whatever, but talk that through. Think about that to yourself. Is it that you've lost something? Therefore, your belief is that having lost that thing means that you're worse off. But actually frame it in a different way and think, well, actually, what have I gained as well?
This video screams toxic positivity. Sometimes problems in our lives exist, and you know what? That's okay. It's part of the human experience. Yes, I believe that there are often lessons to be learned through the challenges that we face in our lives, but that doesn't negate the fact that it's okay to feel like things are hard when we face problems in our lives. And sometimes we do experience loss and we have to feel through that loss, and it's okay for us to sit in those hard feelings and have the experience. Not everything that happens to us has to be twisted into a positive. You know, someone in the comments made like a pretty snide remark, but I thought it was kind of funny, so I figured I would read it here on the screen. Let's see. If I'm swimming in the ocean and a shark bites off one of my limbs, I should say to myself, this could actually be a good thing. And then the creator responded, but in the aftermath, when it seems like the world's against you, there's many ways you could see the experience in a way that serves you. Okay, sure. I'm sure that many of you that are watching this video have experienced significant loss, significant challenge, significant failure in your lifetime. And through that experience, you were able to kind of draw some sort of positive conclusion or positive takeaway, but that does not mean the experience itself was a good thing that happened to you. And I think to have this perspective and to try and impose it on other people is very ignorant, comes from a place of privilege, and is really just in general quite insensitive to the human experience. So feel your feelings, my friends, and if you want to be sad or upset or angry or any kind of perceived negative emotion towards your human experience, know that it's totally okay. All right, friends, all that to say, whoa, I just kicked the camera, so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. All this to say, it's my opinion, and the broad ideas that NLP is built upon and the lack of evidence to support its effectiveness really just have yet to emerge for me. I would love to hear your thoughts as always in the comments. Do you agree with the things that I said? Are there things you thought I missed? Is there stuff that you disagree with? Have you heard of NLP before? Do you have experience using it or witnessing other people using it? Please let me know. If you enjoy anti-scam content, I have an entire playlist linked for you right here. If you enjoyed this video in particular, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I will leave you with this video right here next.